we were talking about slaking randomly, and slacking.
We watched them
slacking. Yeah, slacking. Talking about slacking randomly, and like we kept talking about it, and we were just like sort of shooting the nonsense on it, and then as we kept on going, we dug a little bit deeper, and some interesting points came up. For instance, slacking is like really strong. Like that much is obvious. Very, very strong. And when you compare it to other Pokemon, it actually has power that's like very much comparable to a legendary Pokemon.
Exactly. Even though it's a normal Pokemon, technically, that raises some more questions though. Because usually a super strong Pokemon that isn't a legendary is considered a pseudo-legendary. Slacking isn't though. So why?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and if we actually look at the stats, I'm just going to bring it up and have a look here. For instance, right, I'm looking at the rankings for highest base physical attack. So we look at the boy slacking. You see at the top of the list, you have Mega Mewtwo, Heracross, blah blah blah. Slacking is only 14th. Only 14th. It's the 14th highest, has the 14th highest physical attack, and it's tied with Mega DNC and Mega Blaziken and Regigigas. That's and Hoopa Unbound. That's crazy. It's crazy. Like, how is this Mon on the same level as things that are literally banned or have been banned at some point? It also has the 9th highest HP, and I think this is even crazier because it has the same HP stat as Giratina. Now, okay, I know not everybody's into competitive, but everybody knows Giratina is a beast, right? It's probably the best, one of the best walls in the game. 150 HP is no joke. That's pretty damn high. And you can argue, okay, fair enough, it doesn't have the same defensive stats, but that doesn't change the fact that it has a stat that's comparable with a Pokemon as strong as Giratina. It has the same base stat total as Groudon and Kyogre, which is cool. That's amazing. But what we don't realize until we think about it is these are the same title legendaries. These are the legendaries that are in the same game that Slaking is introduced in. Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. And it has the same base stats. So basically, right, in this world that Slaking is in, it's as strong as the gods of its... Okay, that's maybe going a bit far. But you know what I mean. It's as strong as what should be the strongest Pokemon in its world at that time. Speaking of Gen 3, just as an isolated thing, by the time Slaking was introduced, the only Pokemon that would have been stronger than it was Mewtwo, Lugia, Ho-Oh, and Rayquaza. Only by 10 base stats. What the hell were they thinking?
But that still doesn't answer why fans don't list Slaking as at least a pseudo-legendary or something maybe separate from the rest of the Pokemon in the Pokédex.
So first we have to establish what it means to be a pseudo-legendary. First of all, it's a fan term that isn't official Pokemon lore or canon, and it's given to Pokemon that are relatively rare, that have a base stat total of 600, and that have an experience of 1.25 million at level 100. So the problem with Slaking is that it doesn't meet all these requirements. It is quite rare. Slakoth only appears in one area in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, which I believe is Petalburg Woods. And you can't find Vigoroth or Slaking anywhere by themselves. And it also has 3 stages, which is, Slakoth, Vigoroth, Slaking. The problem is its base stat total. Because Slaking has a base stat total of 670, not 600. Yeah, that's disappointing. Very anticlimactic.
Yep, I feel as if disappointing is an accurate word to use when it comes to Slaking. Because there's this question that lingers as to what the point of Slaking actually was, especially when you consider its ability, Truant. Truant basically means that Slaking can only use a move every second turn.
Yeah, Truant is pretty bad. I mean, that's fairly obvious just by its description. So we did some digging. We found out on like forums like Pokemon DB and stuff like that. The common consensus is that the reason they gave Slaking this ability is that Game Freak wanted to show that abilities aren't necessarily good for the Pokemon every time. They could be a hindrance, which makes sense. Like, it's logical. Not every attribute you give to something is necessarily going to be good, like alcoholism. And that's exactly what truant does for Slaking. It makes him drunk. Yeah, that's what it does for him. His meaty stats cannot stand up to the ever marching inevitability of drug abuse.
Slacking is still weird as hell though, considering its strength. With everything we discussed, we couldn't really think of an alternative that wouldn't make slacking OP.
Yeah, we kind of figured that it was necessary to nerf his stats if you were always going to give him stats that high. It's just a shame that they had to give him such a horrible ability, and it's a shame this ability exists because it isn't only Slaking who gets this ability, it's also Durant. Although at least with Durant it gets Hustle, and anyway, I'm rambling. We want to know your thoughts. Tell us what you think of Slaking. Tell us your thoughts on alcoholism, we'd like to know. If you like this type of video, maybe there'll be more in the future. We hope that we could give you a little nugget of wisdom, so to speak.
But Torchicken nugget of wisdom.
There it is. No. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to like the video. And check out some of our other stuff. We're trying to branch out the content a little bit, and we hope that you can enjoy the direction we're going in. We'll see you soon. Stay crispy.